Assalamualaikum and greetings to the panels and viewers. We are from Group 6T1-1. We'll be presenting our final year project on factors affecting academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students. These are the members of Group 6T1-1. I am Amira Atika and the other two group mates are Nur Ifa Aisha and Nur Shara. Our supervisor is Madam Haslinda Abdul Malik. The ongoing online classes and assessment during this pandemic, the students face with many circumstances that causes them to lose their concentration during online distance learning, which could affect their academic performance. The problems they face are no proper device to use during online distance learning, their environment is not conducive enough to pay attention in class, poor internet connection made them feel so stressed, and lastly, they worry about not graduating on time and the job opportunities in the future employment. There are two objectives in this study, which are first, to examine whether there's a significant difference between genders in academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students, and second, to determine the most significant factor that affect academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students.
Next, research question for this study. First, is there any significant difference between gender in academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students? Second, which are the most significant factors that affect the academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students? Next slide is research hypothesis for objective 1. There are significant difference between gender in academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students, and for objective 2 is the factors that affect academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students, which are family members, peer influence, financial management, study environment, and online teaching.
Next, we have the scope and limitation of study. The scope of our study involves only the students from UiTM Cawangan Negeri 9 Campus Seremban 3 from the session March till July 2021. While conducting this research, we did meet three limitations of the study. First, we had to be creative in using social media to reach out the respondents, as it was hard to directly have access to reach all of them. Second, the process of obtaining the data of students required many procedures and protocols, which was very time-consuming. And lastly, due to the pandemic, it causes many strains such as miscommunication among us researchers. For the significance of the study, our study revolves around the condition of students. So, in finding the factors affecting students' academic performance during online distance learning, we hope that firstly, parents be more aware and understanding of the students' study schedule, and for siblings to be more cooperative with house choices. Secondly, for lecturers to be more considerate in distributing assessments and evaluating students virtually. Other than that, we also hope counselors connect with students and show compassion towards their well-being. Most importantly, we hope that university administrations be mindful of the number of students struggling with online distance learning. And last but not least, we hope that with this study, the government will provide a stable Wi-Fi connection across the nation, because the pandemic proves that it is indeed a necessity during this time.
Next, research design. Research design for this study is first, the data obtained is primary data, which is through online questionnaire. Second, the data used for this study only obtained once from the respondent. And last, single cross-sectional design is the most suitable method to be applied in collecting the data from the students.
For research population and sample, our targeted population is every students of UiTM Seremban 3, mainly from the session March to July 2021. Overall, the population size is 5,642 students. From the population, we only took a number of 360 students as our sample. This number of sample size was generated using Rosoft software.
For this study, we use non-priority sampling as our sampling method. We choose convenient sampling for its advantages for being practical and convenient in distributing online questionnaires to at least 360 samples and less time taken to collect the data.
Next, data collection method. For this study, online questionnaire were chosen for data collection method by using Google Forms. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, students are required to attend online lectures at home. Second, the questionnaire distributed through social media platforms such as Instagram, WhatsApp, and another platform. Next, questionnaire is written in both language, which are English and Malay, to make it easy for respondents to answer the questionnaire.
Moving on, our research instrument was divided into 6 sections, which are section A, B, C, D, and F. We used Likert scale with 10 options of answers provided from strongly disagree to strongly agree. The questions we provided in our questionnaire were generated based on many previous researches.
In theoretical framework, as we can see in the diagram, there are 5 independent variables representing the factors affecting academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM Seremban 3 students, which are family members, peer influence, financial management, study environment, and online teaching, while the dependent variable measured is the CGPA of the students.
Next, for data description, the study have 1 dependent variable, which is cumulative grade point average, and 5 independent variable, which are family members, peers influence, financial management, study environment, and online teaching. And for type of variable is quantitative, and level of measurement is interval.
This is the table of our pilot study results based on complex alpha. First, the variable family members had 9 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.876. Second, the variable family members had 9 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.896. Third, the variable financial management had 10 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.6. Fourth, the variable study environment had 11 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.947. Fifth, the variable online teaching had 10 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.717. Overall, the total number of questions is 49 and the overall reliability had a result of complex alpha 0.901.
Reliability is a consistency of a scale that is measured using Cronbach alpha. The value of Cronbach alpha must be in between 0.6 and 0.8 so that the scale is acceptable. The more numbers of items can unusually increase the value of alpha, and a sample with narrow range can reduce it.
Moving on to inferential statistics, we have analyzed the sample size in order to make conclusions about our population. In this study, we have chosen 2 methods to analyze the data, which are Mann-Whitney U-test to test the objective and the multiple linear regression analysis to test the second objective. The Mann-Whitney U-test was chosen to differentiate the differences between 2 independent groups where the dependent variable is not normally distributed. Before we opted for this test, several assumptions need to be met. For instance, the dependent variable should be ordinal or continuous level, the independent variable must consist of 2 independent and categorical groups, and the most important thing is that the dependent variable is not normally distributed.
Multiple linear regression is used to determine which independent variable signifies to the variability in the dependent variable. The following equation is the general equation of our study, where y is the value of CGPA, all the beta coefficient is the regressor, x1 until x5 represents the factor affecting academic performance during COVID-19 among UiTM Seremban 3 students, and the error is the random error. When conducting multiple linear regression, we have to evaluate the value of coefficient of determination, which is R squared, the goodness fit of model using ANOVA, and testing the significance of independent variable using hypothesis testing. This assumption of multiple linear regression must be met for model advocacy checking. First, regression function must be linear. Second, checking the existence of multicollinearity by going through the value of tolerance and variance inflation factor VIF. Third, error must be independent by checking the value of Durbin-Watson. Fourth, error must be constant variant by checking the scatter plot of residuals against predicted value of y. Fifth, error must be normally distributed by checking using the normal PP plot. And lastly, by using Cook's distance to search for any influential point.
Presented here is the table of reliability test of the overall questionnaire. First, the variable family members had 8 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.896. Second, the variable family members had 8 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.923. Third, the variable financial management had 2 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.874. Fourth, the variable study environment had 10 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.93952. Fifth, the variable online teaching had 4 number of questions and the complex alpha is 0.834. Overall, the total of questions is 32 and the reliability results complex alpha is 0.641.
Next, response rate. For this study, it received 372 respondents but only 343 respondents who are complete and answered the questionnaire successfully. Therefore, the response rate is 92.2%.
Based on the pie chart of the gender of the respondents shows that majority of the respondents are female with a percentage of 78.43%, while the other 21.57% are the male respondents.
Displayed here is a pie chart of the level of study. It is vivid that most of the respondents, being 90.38%, consisted of bachelor's degree students and the remaining 9.62% are diploma students.
The pie chart shows that the majority of respondents aged from 22 years old with 44.31% for 152 respondents, followed by respondents from 21 years old, 20 years old, 23 and above, and 19 years old with 25.95% for 89 respondents, 13.99% for 48 respondents, 10.5% for 36 respondents, and 5.25% for 18 respondents, respectively. It shows that the highest respondent is from 22 years old, meanwhile the lowest is from 19 years old.
Based on the pie chart of the faculties of respondents shows that majority are from FSKM with the percentage of 51.31%, followed by FSPPP with 42.57%. Lastly, the respondents from FSR with a percentage of 6.12%.
The average value of CGPA of the respondent is 3.36, which indicates that their CGPA is good. Next, the minimum value of CGPA of respondent is 2.15, while the maximum value on the other hand is 4.
Based on the pie chart of the respondents' preference on mode of learning shows that majority of them with the percentage of 59.77% prefers online distance learning, while the other 40.23% prefers face-to-face classes.
Presented here is a pie chart of the respondents' family income. It is seen that the majority of the students, being 37.9%, have a family income below 2,500 ringgit, and 30.61% have a family income in between 2,501 ringgit to 5,000 ringgit. Next, 18.06% of the students have a family income worth of 7,500 ringgit and above. The minority group is those having family income between 5,000 ringgit to 7,500 ringgit with a percentage of only 13.141%. The results for inferential statistics is seen below. We wanted to test on the first objective, which is there is a difference between gender in academic performance among UiTM Seremban 3 students. We found out that, as seen in the table above here, the dependent variable CGPA is not normally distributed. Since our dependent variable CGPA is a continuous level and the independent variable gender has independent and categorical groups, female and male, all of the Mann-Whitney U-test assumption is met, so we proceeded with the test. From the results in the table below, we can see that the p-value is 0.228, which is larger than alpha 0.05. Hence, the results showed that there is no significant difference between gender in academic performance among UiTM Seremban 3 students.
For the results of multiple linear regression, based on the summary table shows that the value of R squared is 0.035, indicating that 3.5% in total variation of factors affecting academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM 013 students are explained in the total variation in CGPA, while the other 96.5% is explained on the other factors. For the second part, based on the ANOVA table, shows that the p-value obtained is 0.034, indicating that the model is significant. Third, based on the results of multiple linear regression, showing that family members is the only significant factor with the p-value obtained is 0.027. The value of unstandardized coefficient for family members is 0.003, indicating that for every 1 unit in total score of family members increases, the CGPA of UiTM 013 students increases by 0.003. This finding can be supported by TAS 2021, saying that parental participation is a significant predictor of students' achievement in academic, especially during this crucial time. Next is to check the presence of multicollinearity. Based on the table, shows that all the values of tolerance for each independent variable is more than 0.1, while the value of VIF for each independent variable is less than 10. Furthermore, based on the value of Derby-Watson of the model is less than 2.2, therefore the errors are independent. In addition, the plots are scattered around, showing no obvious pattern in the scatter plot of residual against predicted value of y, meaning that the errors are constant variance. Besides that, the normal PP plot shows that the errors are normally distributed since the plots are approximately scattered along the straight line. Based on the scatter plot of Cook's distance, shows there is no presence of outlier since all the values of Cook's distance is below than 1. Therefore, all the assumptions are met for model adequacy checking in multiple linear regression model.
Next, conclusion. For first objective, which is to examine whether there is a significant difference between gender in academic performance during COVID-19 among UiTM 013 students, this study used man-with-me-you test due to the violation of dependent variable is not following a normal distribution. The normality assumption for the variable CGPA is analyzed using eViews version 12 and found that the dependent variable is not normally distributed, and the result from SPSS version 25, there is limited evidence of a significant difference in academic performance based on gender of UiTM 013 students. Next, conclusion for second objective, which is to determine the most significant factor that affect the academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM 013 students is by using multiple linear regression. The result obtained shows that there is only one variable that is significant, which is family members, has an effect towards the academic performance during COVID-19 pandemic among UiTM 013 students. For recommendation, in order to get higher significant value, the future researcher should enlarge the population so that the sample size can also increase. Next, the future researcher can also add more factors such as internet connection, intimate relationship, self-motivation, health issue, and study cost. By adding the factor, the respondent have more choice to choose the factor affecting their academic performance. Next, for CGPA in questionnaire must be closed-ended question instead of open-ended question, because some students are insecure with their CGPA, which resulting them to leave the space blank. Therefore, it's better to categorize the CGPA so that the data will be categorical instead of numerical. Last, a method of data analysis which is simultaneous and integrate is necessary.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.